Now we're going to make our rim. So I'm going to go to New. I'm going to open up a standard part. Make sure you're working in Bicycle Project before you start your part, before you double click part. Once you start the part, you can't change that. You'd have to move the file literally, physically to the next, to the right folder. So we're going to start a sketch on the front, and I'm going to make this using revolve and then mirror, so I'm only going to make half of it. I'm going to start by making a construction box. I'm going to create a rectangle that I'm going to work within, and when it's blue you can just start typing. That's also a calculator box, so I'm going to say 1.75, and since I'm only going to do half of the rim, I'm going to say divided by 2. Fraction bar, or the slash, / is your divide symbol. 1.75 divided by 2. And then if I'd hit tab, I wouldn't have to put dimension. It would automatically jump over here to this one, and that should be 2 inches tall. So I didn't hit that tab, so I had to go in and put in the actual dimension. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to pull this up, hit escape to get off of dimension, and then I can drag it out of the way a little farther. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing some lines. They are not going to be construction lines, so I have to take that off. And so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go straight down, and then I'm going to go from here. I'm going to come straight across, not to the midpoint, just some random place. And then I'm going to draw that one. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to come in, and I'm not putting dimensions on here. I'm going to come up. Now this next line I'm going to draw, I do want to be a construction line. So that will be, I'm going to come all the way over here because I'm going to actually put a arc in the place of that. I'm also going to have an arc that's going to be for this one. And then it quits being construction, so I'm going to come straight up and then come straight over. That also is not a construction line. So now I'm going to hit escape to get off of line. One thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill it, and I'm going to fill it the things that do not have arcs first. I'm going to make them, always enter your dimension first for your fillet, your radius, so 0.25 to start with, and I'm going to make this one 0.25. Now if you get it on the corner, sometimes that'll pop up. If it won't, you just click here, and that gives you your fillet. Now I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to pull this down some so that it's out of the way, and I'm going to pull that down a little bit. I can go ahead and put in this dimension from here to this line and pull that out, and that is 0.2 inches. That way I get that in about the right location. And now I'm going to go back and let's put in some more fillets. So I'm going to fillet, and instead of 0.25 I want 0.125. I'm going to click this and this. Oops, I had that highlighted and didn't realize, so I'm going to say undo. Okay, now I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to fillet, and I want to fillet 0.25 from this line to this line, 0.125, and then I want this one to be 0.125 as well. And then the next thing that I know for a fact, I'm going to drag this over some, and I want to fillet, but my fillet changes to 0.08. I want to fillet this right here and this one right here. So those are where I've got lines and not arcs. This one, and this one will have arcs. So I'm going to put those on there in a few moments. Show you another way that may help some people. So the next thing I'm going to do is put on some dimensions. I know that from this line to this line is 0.4. And that pushed it out of place, but that's okay. I'm just going to drag it back over. I know that the dimension for this line is very small, 0.032, 32 thousandths. And I'm going to say okay. And I know that the dimension, excuse me, not that one. The dimension from here to here is supposed to be 0.15. The dimension from here to here is 0.2. And so I'm going to now pull this. I'm going to hit escape to get off of dimension. And now I'm going to pull that up some more. What I want to do now is I'm going to actually draw this line, or I can go ahead and actually make this line. I can put a dimension. This line is going to be 0.6. Now what I can do is I'm going to have an arc that's going to go from here to somewhere up there, and I'm just kind of putting it on there, and I'm going to dimension that arc. That is supposed to have 0.125. I'm going to make it tangent that arc with this, and now I'm going to draw an arc from here directly over, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to click here, and that dimension is going to be 3.6 right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the point here is vertical with that point. And I'm going to put a tangent constraint from here to here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this in, and what I've got to do is I have to make this point and this point horizontal. The center point for that should be right here on this line, and it looks like it is. That point should be on there, and it is. Okay, so that works to do that. Now I'm going to draw another arc. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to draw this one. I'm going to make from here to down here, and I'm going to make that, when I dimension that arc, it's also 0.125. I'm going to make it be tangent here and here, and that's good. And so I say, okay. The next thing I'm going to do is draw another arc. It's going to go straight out, and I'm going to pull it up slightly. I'm going to make the center of that, or I'll dimension it right here. So that one, the dimension is 3.15, and I'm going to make that vertical with this one, so it lines it up. I'm going to say I want the horizontal, this point with this point, and I want tangent, this point with that point. Okay, and I'm going to, that should work for that. I'm going to dimension from, I need to coincident, the center point here needs to be on that line. Okay, it's going to overstretch it. So I can put in, I can try to dimension from that midpoint. If it doesn't have it, I'm going to put it on there, that point to this point. And now I'm going to dimension between those 2 points. From this point to this point, and that should be 0.2. So that moves that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim off this. I'm going to trim off this. And that's going to clean up. I'm also going to trim off that and trim off this so that that is cleaned up some for me. I'll use that in a minute. And I can draw in a line from here to here. That is going to be closed now. So next thing I'm going to do is put my arc from somewhere on here to somewhere up here. And I'm going to pull that in right there. I'm going to dimension that arc, and that arc is going to be 0.25. I'm going to tangent that arc with this line, and now I'm going to draw another arc. So I'm going to go from here over here somewhere, and I'm going to just kind of pull it up. When I dimension that one will have a dimension of 5, and I have to make that right here vertical. So now I can put in my dimensions. From here to here is going to be 1.1. From here to here is I'm going to say cancel. Okay, that'll work. Okay, dimension. If you get that from here to here and pull that over, say accept. We'll leave it. Well, that's close enough. And so now what I'm going to do is make sure that my midpoint for this, that should be on this line. That moves it around, and that. So I'm going to now draw a line from that point to this point, and I will trim this off. I'm ready now to draw my horizontal line up here that I'm going to use for revolving, and I'm going to make that be a construction line. This line should be a construction line, and I'm going to dimension it from here to the bottom of this, should be 9.5 inches. Now I need to trim off this, and I should be able to finish my sketch. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to revolve, and I should be able to say I want an output that's solid, and I want it to be that profile. And since I've got, it's not letting me choose solid, I must have an open loop somewhere. Okay, so I want this profile, and since I've got an open loop somewhere, since it's not letting me choose it. So I've got to go back and try to find my open loop. So if I zoom in, this is still blue, so I'm going to go back to sketch. I mean, it's not blue. So I'm going to say tangent. I want that tangent with this. Okay, I want this tangent with that. It already exists. That should be tangent. Okay. That should be tangent. Already exists. Somewhere I have an open loop that I would have to look for. Right here, I have to trim that off. There's my problem. So I'm going to finish that sketch. Go back. I'm going to revolve this shape. I have to revolve it around this axis. When I go home, you can see it's right there. And now I am going to mirror this feature. And the mirror plane is right here. And I say OK. And there you go. You are